But you have to know when God has given you that time to let it go. Because
Yeah.
you're holding yourself back from something that can be better.
Yeah.
I will be honest, I'm still struggling with that.
It's hard.
I'm struggling very hard.
Letting people go?
Learning when to let go. Yes.
Saying that I'm not making any more friends. Because if God is waking me up to see another day, there's more people to talk to, there's more people to touch. So who am I to say that I'm just going to stay in my little circle and not invite other people? Because I never know.
You're here for.
Right?
Yeah.
You have something that somebody else may need.
That.
Yeah.
So don't shut yourself out from other people because you can learn from them and they can learn from you.
Yeah.
So hey, new friends.
We were just
Recording. And we're back. Yeah.
We good? Yeah.
And we're back. We're back with another episode of the Your Done Podcast. Is this season 2?
Yeah, it is season 2.
I think it's season 2. Y'all, we got some guests.
We got multiple guests at that. Yes. He over here cheesing like
He's so excited to be here. We got Big Desto, not the little one.
And be more. Nevertheless.
K-Walk.
Okay. Introducing yourself.
We got Ash.
Yes.
So we're here to talk about. Okay, so
Well, one. Let's introduce, I guess, because one thing we've been learning since season 1 is that we know the people that we're talking to. So we just be coming on here chit-chatting with y'all, and then y'all be like, who the hell
is that?
is these people that they talking about? And I'll be like, okay, so this is Kevin. Destiny and Kevin have been friends since the beginning of time. And then they also be like, we not friends, and I'll be like, stop playing with me. He is literally like the little brother
part of the family.
we never asked for, but we happy that he here. So yes.
And then Ashley is my best friend that I met when I lived in Charlotte. So I've known her for going on 5 years now.
Hey.
We've been stuck at the hip ever since.
There you go.
No, for real. And I
One
was
link
like,
up and that's all it took.
That's all it takes.
and I like her because y'all know we don't be vibing with everybody. But I was like, when you meet a good friend, you met a good friend.
Yeah.
And Ashley is that girl.
So speaking of friends, I guess, okay, so yesterday we were sitting at the table. We were having really good conversations about, I think like we said evolving in relationships.
Yeah.
Because obviously like we're friends, but me and her, I mean we're friends, but we're sisters. And even outside of just us, we all have different types of relationships in our lives that we can relate this topic to.
Yes.
So basically for instance, Brittany has known me all my life. Kevin met me when I was like in elementary, but we became really, really close in middle school. And then I met Ashley as an adult.
Yeah.
So it's like all these different phases of my life that people have known me as and watched me grow from different beginnings. Like when you met me, I was at a totally different space. That's obviously when she met me, I don't know where I was at.
Crying is what she was doing.
In the womb.
So we're gonna talk about how within relationships, how people evolve and how as they grow, you continue to love them through their different stages and phases of life.
Yes. Amen.
Period. So yeah.
Who
Go.
want to get right now? Go.
Not go.
So the biggest. Okay, so clearly they had this conversation without your girl because I was rubbing my feet together. For those who don't know, by the time you see this episode, my girl over here is a fiance. Corey did his big one. Y'all should know who Corey is by now. We're in season 2, so if you watching, you already know what it is.
He was a boyfriend in season 1.
He done moved up a level. Okay, my boy's leveling up around here. But they had a conversation, and I was just like, that is interesting. But it was very different for me because I feel like I have my high school friends who've been knowing me since we went to elementary together. And then I have my college friends where I'm like, I talk to them like every day. You know, so it is different. But I think a lot of it, too, when we're talking about what our podcast is about and different things like that, a lot that Destiny and I have gotten is that they're like, oh, you have the same parents. Y'all grew up in the same town. You've done this. So they be thinking like our lives are exactly alike. And I'm like, honey, there's
Definitely
things
not.
Destiny and I talk about. And she's like, I didn't do that as a kid. Yeah. So it is tough. But it's also interesting because now that we're adults and she's like I said, I've been knowing Kevin since she was in diapers, but really since middle school. But it's interesting because now we're all friends. And then I'm also getting to know her friends at their different stages in life.
Right.
Yeah.
And more so Kevin because they've been friends for the longest. And I'm just like, yeah, y'all not friends today, but y'all be besties tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not about to.
I'm gonna just say we haven't fallen out in a while.
No, they're really good. They're
And
really
by falling
good.
out, I mean Kevin ain't get mad about something.
Right, but that's growth. That's what this is all about, and that's growth. As you're talking about friendship, so I think that's great that that he was here to celebrate you in this stage, because y'all easily could have just let that 1 or 2 50 fallouts happen.
Okay, 50 is crazy,
and we not be here.
Yeah,
I agree
pretty
with you,
pushing.
and I think now that Desto and Kevin are all older, you're now getting to know them on a different level. You looked at them as like, oh, that's my little brother or that's my little sister. But now it's like, oh, no, that's like my friend.
Yeah.
We actually have a connection where we talk about things that I would talk about with my best friend.
Yeah.
So I think that's important too. And that's also important about the evolution or the growth of growing up together. So,
because I would say, like, as when Kevin, we were kids when we met, so we wasn't sitting around having real life serious conversations.
Right? Yeah.
Whereas me and Ashley, it was like I met her at one of the hardest times of my life, I would say, and it was like she's one of my friends that I go to her, we pray, we do this, she send me Bible studies. That's the phase of my life that I met her in. So that's all she know from me. Like, she don't know the destiny that felt maybe insecure at a time of her life, or the destiny that went through all these different changes of moving from school to school, you know, like all the stuff that y'all were able to witness. So it's like, girl, I've come a long way.
And then we look at Kevin, and Kevin be like, no, I know all them stages, man.
I was just gonna say, shout out to the friends that literally stayed throughout all the stages.
Yes.
All the stages.
Because it's not easy. Just like she was saying, y'all fall out. Like, you're gonna fall out. That's just like what happens. But it's the bounce back that is more powerful.
Yeah.
Like, if y'all can come back from it.
About that. He was like, real friends don't fall out. Like, they communicate. Like, if something's bothering me, I'm going to be like, okay, Kevin, when you did that, look, don't do that again, bro. Yeah. Like, that did not work for us. Let's not do that. Like, it really took a conversation of being like, all right, bro, I'm not finna keep breaking up with you. And so,
no, for real.
like, friendship should not be this hard. And now, as adults, he was able to receive it better. If I would have said that to Kevin in middle school, we'd be like, oh, she hates me and I'm going to block her forever.
No.
I'm putting my burn book.
Right, you're not my friend on MySpace or Hulu.
Okay.
That was Kevin.
But remember we were talking about this last night on maturity level too.
Right.
So it also takes that maturity part of a friendship, because y'all could have fell out and then you could have been that childish person and been like, I'm not going to be her friend anymore. And she hit you up trying to apologize and you were like, I don't want to hear it. So I think it's also on that growth throughout the way too.
Mm-hmm.
How can you be mature and want to be that friend?
So question. How did that work? Because I mean, like, clearly as the sister, right, Kevin wasn't calling me to be like, yeah, so your sister tripping. It was just more like, I'd be like, wait, well, what's going on with Kevin? And then she'll share whatever it is y'all fell out about. And then maybe I run into Kevin, I come home. And he, of course, I would say hi, but it's like we're not diving into his side of the topic.
Yeah.
But I never looked at Kevin like, you dogged my sister out, you know? So F you, because I could have nigga off anybody behind my sister. So, like, what was it for you in having a friendship or relationship with Destiny that you felt like, hey, like, we're going to have a conversation and either I'm apologizing or, like, she's apologizing and I can see us going forward as friends? Like what was those turning points for y'all or you?
I think it was just basically one good time where we didn't go talking. It was almost a year. And I think it came a time where it was like you miss that person. You start to realize that, okay, what happened and what we were upset about.
And by that point, he didn't even remember.
It was childish. It didn't matter. But, you know, it was almost a year. So I wasn't the same Kevin that I was when
he blocked me.
I got upset.
That was
Say what it was.
So, and then, you know, it always takes two. So when I had reached that point, I reached out to her and she was receiving of how I felt. Mm-hmm. So then she let me know also, like, okay, I hear you. I hear the things that you're saying, but we not doing this no more. Yeah. So it's either we gonna be friends or we not. And we agreed. You know what? You're right. Oh, we gonna be friends.
You better know.
And that was back in like 2018.
You better know what you want in life, because you're not here to play.
Right.
No, for real.
Because I value, like I said in previous episodes, like I value my friendships for sure. Any relationship that I'm in, like I'm not just, like we said last night, I'm not just making friends with just anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's
with
like,
intentions.
yeah, at some point it did hurt my feelings. Like, okay. At first it was like, okay, I'm just mad, he'll get over it. But after a while, it's like, all right, bro. I keep losing a friend every few months over nothing. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
So it got to a point where I also had to be like, because I'm not going to say like I wasn't a person to apologize, but I also feel like if I ain't do nothing wrong, I ain't got nothing to say. Because I ain't do nothing wrong. Like, what am I supposed to say? Right? What am I I'm not finna just apologize for the hell of it, you know?
Yeah.
So it got to a point where it was like, I had to be more open and receiving of stuff. So.
Yeah. But I think it's recognizing like where you are too. Because like you said, y'all met when y'all were younger. So I do feel like sometimes you forget that you're not the same. Like he's not recognizing your growth, and maybe you're not recognizing his growth. And I think that's the same like for me and Bree. Bree met me at a particular stage in life. We're married, and then you assume like, well, you met me, and it's like, but I don't even like that no more.
Right.
That's not even my favorite. Well, no, yellow is still my favorite color, but it's like you would never have seen me in pink back in the day,
right?
Baby.
Oh yeah, I hated pink.
But look, I look cute today. So it's just like different things like that. And I think that's like the biggest thing that anyways, of what I hear is that y'all both were growing. And in certain phases of like y'all having conversations, you're like, wait a minute, I don't appreciate you saying that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's like when Destiny be like, oh my God, I'd be like, we don't say the Lord's name in vain. But it's something that I always do, you know? So it could be something as small as that back in the day would have meant nothing. That now when you say it, it's like, that's kind of like a trigger for me. Like, don't do that, you know? So I think y'all just were growing and was like, I'm not really sure.
We were kids when we met.
Yeah.
Like we were becoming adults. Like
yeah. And then, you know, sometimes I think you don't even know what your trigger is or what's bothering you until like it happens. Oh, like somebody you don't know do it.
Yeah.
Because then you be like, oh no, that's the shit that Kevin did. Right? So why am I mad at him when you a stranger? You got to go. You're done. Cut it out. Right? Let me go call my real friend because he understands me.
Right.
And
that's what comes into play where I say it takes two. Like honestly, me and Destiny, we've had bumps, but we just never really gave up.
Yeah.
Kinda,
because most of the
learning each other.
Bumps were really just like a oops. It wasn't like a
heel.
Hold on. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And when it is, you got to learn to let go.
Exactly.
No, for real.
Exactly.
Because some of them,
cut it off.
You have to know what that boundary is. Don't stick to a friendship just because it's comfortable. And I think that's what relationships too. Some people like to hold on to that relationship because it's all they know.
Yeah.
But you have to know when God has given you that time to let it go. Because you're holding yourself back from something that can be better.
Yeah.
I will be honest, I'm still struggling with that.
It's hard.
I'm struggling very hard.
Letting people go?
Learning when to let go. Yes.
It's
At the
hard
age of 30.
because it's that attachment. And I think somebody asked about this. Do y'all believe in soul ties? Somebody just asked about that. And first I was like, and I'm like, no, wait. Like, it's soul ties to me is just a spiritual, like a deeper connection.
Yeah.
And so when you have that deeper connection with people, it is hard to let it go.
Yes.
Like you feel like that, you know, that person is comfortable at this grown age. It's hard making new friends. It's hard getting in new relationships. So like sometimes you stay stuck somewhere because you're.
Yeah.
Well, it's different for like Ashley, not different, like as if she, because obviously like I'm a newer friend.
Yeah.
But she has friends that they've been friends them all their lives, you know, like since they were really, really young, and it's a lot of them. And it's like I've never experienced, like, obviously I have like a big group of friends, but like they are literally like they talk still, like your relationship with them didn't waver in any kind of way, not that I know of. Like y'all are cool. It's always been y'all. Like I feel like I've had my friend groups, but they never, like, as kids, it was always me, and I don't really want to bring up people's names, but like it was always like the three of us. And then like, now they'll talk, but we don't talk. And it's like I've never had a group of friends where it's just been us since day one. You know? It's like, oh yeah, me and Kevin, we stay cool out of the friend group, or me and such stay cool out of the friend group. But like I never had a friend group like Ashley. And to see like them be friends from until adults.
Most of us been friends since elementary. You know, we picked up along the way, but I think the important part of it is that we gave each other grace.
You know what? I just lied. I do have one friend. Please forgive.
I thought watching this.
Yeah, we met in fourth grade, so I do have that one friend. Yeah,
but I do think it's a part of giving grace. Like, we learn along the way. You know, we have our little arguments, but one thing for sure, we have never brought someone else into our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we go through it, and it's very rare that we have big issues with each other, which I don't think we've ever had a real big issue with each other, but we've never talked about it outside of the friendship and then try to bring other people into it. Never brought it to social media. It's always like, if I felt like you did something, I'm going to call you and we're going to talk about it right away because I value your friendship. So it's no point of me holding on to it. When I feel this type of way, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I think grace too, because we have a chat. We check in with each other every now and then. We call each other. But when somebody doesn't text back or respond, we're not like, oh, they don't mess with us. Oh, we don't want to, we give each other grace. Or when we do mess up, we give each other grace. And I think grace is very important.
So have y'all never been through that period though, where you have times where a person would feel like
absolutely
jealous of the other friendship?
No.
Yeah.
Or maybe more so like,
because we know where our bond is.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not jealous over anyone else because I know that those are my girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can have other friends.
Did y'all have times where y'all tripped if y'all went too long without talking?
No. Because we don't ever go too long without talking. Somebody gonna check in.
Because
well, that's good.
Relationships or friendships like that, you do what you have to do to maintain it.
Yes.
Like, why would, if I value that relationship or that friendship, why would I go forever where I have to wonder, oh, are we still friends?
Are y'all good?
But have you seen friendships prior? Like, I feel like for us, we never really seen, like, even our parents or people be friends. So would you say, like, you've ever witnessed people actually have friendship outside of Disney Channel? Because I would be like, oh, this is what we're supposed to be doing, right? High School Musical. This is where we at.
Funny.
And it's like, but it's not. So I'm
my
like,
mom has stuck with her best friend since they were kids. And
That's
okay.
beautiful.
Oh, that's
and
good.
I've watched them. Well, at me growing up, I've seen. That's my godmother.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen it outside of Disney Channel.
That's good.
Okay.
Because half of us don't know our godmamas.
No.
But to answer your question, I don't know. I think family is my mom's best friend. So like her sisters and so of course that's the relationship that I see. I have a relationship with my sister, but my sister isn't my best friend. Like I don't call her all the time and we don't talk about everything. So I do love that about my mom and my sister and her sisters. So that's where I see it. She has friends. Yeah. She has best friends, but to say that consistent relationship, she gets that from family.
Yeah. And I think that's where it was like hard for me. I'm not going to speak for Destiny, but for me it's because, not saying my mama ain't had no friends, but we did witness my mom and my dad like go through these different interesting situations where like they say they friends, but then somebody slided somebody. So for me, I'm not the type to be like, oh, well, this is me in this friend situation. If what you did looked similar to something I've seen and that shit didn't work out, then you already a trigger for me, and I'm not gonna be able to. Like, I'm not gonna be able to overlook what I just seen because I'm already expecting the outcome to be exactly what it is that I already seen. Yeah. So I've learned that as I've gotten older to sometimes at least, like you were saying, like speak on it, like, hey, I noticed this, blah 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 blah, before I'm like cut you off, because I'll usually notice something and I'm like, yeah. That's not gonna work for you, girl. You're done. Like you're done, and I don't even want to figure out what's gonna happen because if you make me mad, then you done made me mad, and it's about to be worse than me just saying, "Let me let you go." Yeah, you know. So I feel like in making friends, I've had to like slow myself down because when I moved to South Carolina, but I was working in North Carolina. I know, crazy. One of the things, right? They're not that far apart.
Down the street, they're that far.
I had met a girl, and I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be my only friend out here." And she's like, "You're not gonna make no new friends." And I was like, "I don't do well."
So when she,
and I was like, because then you gonna want to call me about your problems. Then if your dude doing something, and then you got kids, and then you want me to. I'm not doing that. I'm not inviting
It's
you
a
to
lot
my
of
house.
energy.
And I'm just like knowing my capacity, and I just was like, one friend is enough. I got friends in Texas, and I'm fine with that, you know.
But I was gonna like bounce off what you said about Mama, like you said, she had friends, but I've also seen people that she considered her friends do her wrong.
Yes.
So it's like I've always been the type of person, I don't want to come off as like I said, I do value my friendships, but it's like I am not that pressed for a friend. Like I've seen my mama go through life with, one day she got a friend and maybe the next day she ain't fucking with them like that. You know? So it's like I value the people who want to stick around and we both put in that effort. But baby, if you're not, that's why it's just like, okay, I'm not finna keep doing this. It don't matter if you're a friend, a boyfriend, at some point, I'm done. Yeah. And I'm not finna keep trying with people. Like, I've never, like, just been like, oh, my friend. Yeah. Hi, Shayla.
Right.
I've never been like that. No, her name not Shayla. It's on TikTok. But I've never just been like, oh, my gosh, like, me and my friend are not friends anymore. It might hurt my feelings, but I literally would just get over it. Because it's like, I think like the things that I've seen growing up, it's like, a friend can come and go, and that's cool. Yeah. But like as an adult now, where I have friendships that I can like, I guess I could say benefit, like they add value to my life. Let me say that. Those are friendships that I didn't have growing up. So back then, I was just like, baby, look, we just kick it because we got the same classes. I don't care that much. That's why when I moved to Hot Tower, Mama was like, go make friends. For what? I have Kevin. He may be 45 minutes away, but I got a friend. Yeah. Like, I don't need to go out and make no friends for me to feel cool. Like, I am good by myself.
Yeah. I learned that I don't need best friends. Yeah. A lot of people are like, you my friend? So we fuck each other like this. And I'm like, no. I'm totally fine with a friend. I'm totally fine that you only hit me up when it's your birthday and we come out. I party with you and then I go back home. Yeah. I'm okay with that. And I like to know that that's my place.
But I will say that I've experienced a friendship where it was like, I thought that we were better than that. Like, oh, I only hear from you when such and such happens. And I thought we were better than that. So, okay, stuff like that does hurt my feelings. Because I'm like, girl, I thought we was cool. But maybe they looked at the friendship from a different perspective than I thought like they did.
Yeah, and I'm not.
And I didn't know. So when they did certain stuff, it was like, well, dang.
Yeah. But I think that's also in knowing who you are. I think because at certain, like, especially once I moved out of the state of Texas, because when I first moved out of Texas, I went to Virginia. And I was used to everybody knowing who I was. And if you didn't, you probably thought I was Destiny. And if you didn't think I was Destiny, you definitely knew I was Doris and Daryl's kid. That's literally how people would approach us. So when I moved to Virginia, and Brittany is a common name. And when somebody would say Brittany, I stopped turning around. I knew, like, this is weird, you know? But it allowed me to realize, like, who I am outside of being Doris and Daryl's kid, outside of being Destiny's big sister. Like, I am at that time Brittany McCoy. So what is it that I enjoy doing? So that was the first time, like, I started going to the movies by myself. It was the first time that I went to Chili's and sat at a bar by myself. You know, it got me out of my comfort zone because in Lamar, everyone knows each other. So it's not very hard to be like, oh, let me go link up with this person. Or you go I go to HEB and see about 8 people that I know, you know?
Right.
So now you're talking about being in a space where it's just you. Now I have to make friends. I have to reach out to people. I have to know what my boundaries are. And then stay safe because people just pull up on you at the parking lot.
Even with the new friends, it's like you don't really know. Like for instance, me when I met Ashley, I didn't know. All I knew was what I met in that moment. I didn't know nothing about Ashley's past, what all the things that Ashley went through to make her up to who she was in that moment. Yeah. All I knew was she was cool. We was the 2 little black girls at the school, and that was my girl.
They was the DEI at the
school. Link, what are you doing afterwards?
Exactly. So it was like obviously now as the relationship continued to grow, like I learned different things about her. I've been around her family, all these different things, but in that moment when I made a new friend as an adult, I was like, oh, she cool. Like I don't know if Ashley has had traumas in her life. I don't know nothing, but sometimes stuff like that could come up later in the friendship. So like even with like me and Ashley, like she knew things about me when I met her. I was going through something, and then maybe a year or so later, I found myself going through something again, and I'm like, at that moment, I literally was like, oh no, we're not doing that. And I literally called her like, oh, baby, I got to go back to Texas because this ain't finna work for me. And in that moment, she saw me grow from one you know,
Yeah.
one level of my life to the next. I'm like, oh dang, Destiny, she actually, you know,
Yeah.
and that part of my life, I started to choose Destiny more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas
And
when
I
she met
seen
me,
that it was
I was
a
struggling.
proud moment.
Yeah.
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 So that's like when you watch your friends, even if you like we haven't known each other all our lives, she's seen me evolve as a person within the friendship and having to, even though she didn't want me to leave, she was like, you gotta do what's best for you. You know, like she's like, dang, that's so leaving. And she still say, I wish you were here to this day. And that was years ago.
But I think that's the thing, like you said, when you met your friend, you understood like where they were then. You didn't try to pry into it. You like I feel like some people literally are like, yeah, now you need to come do this, and I'm like, whoa. You know, like pump your brakes because I'm not going over there. So I think it's like good that you're even people that you've known all your life. It's like you're meeting each other where you are, and then you're having the conversations. And in those moments, in those conversations, you're realizing how real that friendship is. Because she easily could have been like, "Nah, I think you over exaggerating, like you being extra." I don't know, man, why wouldn't you have called me from the get go if that's really how you felt? And then same with Kevin, I feel like could have been something. And then same with me and her, because Destiny and I really have never had an argument, but sometimes I have looked at her like, I didn't mean when I said you was adopted. Because why are you acting like that? Where did you get this trait from? Who in the family acts this way? She used to get so mad. I did, y'all. Don't judge me. I know I'm not the only oldest sibling who has told their other siblings that they are adopted.
Girl, no.
And she'd be like, I look just like y'all. I'd be like, you know what they say? The longer you with people, the more you But now
Brittany has told me a lot of stuff as a kid that I believe for no reason.
But I love her with all my heart. I really do. But I think that's like the best thing when you're talking about friendships is like you are accepting the person of where they are. Now, if along the lines they start giving you something that you can't handle, I don't say you just. I might back in the day have just cut you off because I'm like, but I do express how I feel as well as understanding where they are and whatever it is that they're sharing.
I would say, because I feel like Kevin been quiet over it a little bit. I would say with like knowing Kevin, and this don't even always have to do with our friendship, but I would say like usually it don't have nothing to do with our friendship. Like Kevin will come and like express himself to me about something somebody else may have done, and I remember it was a time in college. And I can speak on this because me and that girl still friends and whatever, Bria. And so, hey girl. But it was like, I don't even remember what Bria may have done to Kevin, but Kevin was like, mind you, me and Bria are roommates. Me and Kevin are best friends.
I don't even remember this.
But listen,
this is all news to everybody
me
here.
and Kevin are best friends. And so he's like, I'm not talking to Bria. Blah, 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 blah. But he would still want to come to the dorm. I'm like, bro, how you basically come to that girl's house and don't want to talk to her? Yeah. And then he was like, I said, so are you going to tell her? He was like, no. I said, so you just going to stop talking to her? He was like he literally saw nothing wrong with it.
Listen, and I was like, Kevin, I would have been with you, my man.
And I was like, Kevin, you cannot do that to people because she's probably thinking y'all are still friends. Meanwhile, you hate her guts. Yeah. And so, and now when Kevin has situations that happen with his friends or even with us, he communicates more. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. He needed that moment.
Yeah, I see Kevin literally just be like, "Oh, you did something that I ain't like. I ain't even gonna speak on it, but I ain't talking to you no more." And then here I come, "Oh, hey," and he looking at me like, "I don't fool with you." And it's like, well, why wouldn't you just tell me that? Yeah. Okay.
But I think,
now he'll say it.
Yeah.
Like this bothers me.
So we are evolving though.
Yes.
Emotionally.
We're definitely evolving.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna line that up.
Okay, yeah.
Now I will go to the person and tell them what they did, and it's up to you if you're about to receive it or not, or what's gonna happen next after this conversation.
Okay.
But he's also the type of friend that I'm not gonna, like I said, I love friends. I'm not gonna make it seem like I hate friends, but he's a person who, like, he cares to me a little too much sometimes, and it's
I
just
love
like
my friends.
Yeah, but sometimes after a while, it's like Kevin.
Yeah,
like
that's
a lot of grace.
But he did just say that he struggles with that.
Yeah,
that letting go. So
we talk about it all
that
the
could
time.
be something that is growing internally, little by little.
I do.
So just continue to push.
Yeah.
I feel like
sometimes
I do care a little too much. Yes, I probably will care more than the other person, but I can't help it. I'll try to put that mask on and be like, whatever. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, we can go by. He's our boyfriend.
Yeah. So and then it got to a point where I didn't really care to front anymore. So I would just try to talk to a person, give them time. If they're still acting how they're acting, then
that's when you're supposed to let it go.
Would you say
right,
as a
see, I wouldn't
male?
let go.
Exactly.
I would still
That's the part he
say
struggled
something
with.
again, and then eventually it would come back to whole.
Yeah.
That's tough. Would you say as a male, it just was like, because I know I hate to be like, females are more emotional, because clearly about this, I'm like, I am not that emotional. I'm starting to like get into my emotions, I guess. But would you say as a male, it's like different because you got quite a few female friends, so learning how to like deal with your own emotions,
right,
in the midst of like also saying like, why I gotta share this with you? You should already know that.
Yeah, I think it is different. I think with a friendship between a female and a male, I think the male will care more when something happens, and I'm talking about a platonic. I'm not talking about like a relationship. I'm talking about like your actual homeboy. As far as like male, like me and Isaiah, or me and Barry, or me and Jeremy, well, I never really had any fallouts or problems with my straight guy friends ever, actually. But when it comes to maybe like the gay guy friends, we'll probably have a fallout, but we won't even really talk about it. Eventually, we'll just come back around, and it's just that. But as far as the females, it's not more so like just to come around and not talk. Like, we're gonna talk about it.
Mm-hmm. I said that last night, how females are more attached to our feelings.
Yeah.
So we get in our feelings and we said what we said.
So especially like with Kevin being a male, like we have friends that where Kevin is like, it ain't that big of a deal, but the girl is over there literally like why would Kevin do that? And they pissed. And Kevin is just like almost like not get over it, but like, is it that big of a deal? Whereas he literally had to learn to be like, okay, this is how that person feels. So I have to literally acknowledge their feelings. Yeah. Whereas if Barry and them got mad, like most men, they'll speak about it and they just move on. A girl, we even may speak about it, but I still need some time to get over it type of thing. Yeah. So it's like he had to learn how to be like, all right, I said what I said, and when you're ready to talk, I'll be here, So that's kind of how it was.
Yeah, I can see that being tough. But I did want to ask all of y'all a question, though. Like, because you've been knowing him for forever. Then you got a new friend. Like, how do you find, it's not finding the time, but like how do y'all connect all each together? Because I feel like my friends, like, I have groups of friends. Mm-hmm. I've never done anything where I brought all my friends together. And I feel like you've done a great job of being like, nah, I don't give a dang where I met you at in my life. I'm having to get together. Yeah. Everybody coming and y'all be nice. But the crazy thing is that y'all not only be nice, but then it be like, oh no, I got Kevin number. What?
Yeah.
Like when that happened?
Yeah.
You know,
we literally went on a whole trip together.
We did go on a whole trip together.
Me and Ashley clicked like that.
Yeah. He kept talking about her after I said, first of all, since we talking about that trip, it was my birthday. We at the Airbnb, and the Airbnb they got stuff, but not like it's not like a house where they got everything. So they may have had 2 champagne glasses and like some regular glasses. Kevin pours champagne for us to get our day started. Why they got the champagne glasses and I got the regular cup? I said, first of all, it's my birthday,
right.
And second of all, I was your first. He kept. I really like Ashley. I got it. All right, cool. She's cool. I love Ashley too. Even after the trip, he was just like, Ashley was really cool. I really enjoyed that trip. So I really think it stemmed from, like I said, as I got older, I was very, I guess I'm not just saying I'm friends with just anybody.
Intentional.
So I was very intentional about who I call my friends. So like the things, like the values that I seek in that friendship, I guess that's just what I am as a person. So I attracted that from Ashley. So it was easy for us to like connect because I'm not just out here making, oh, that's my going out friend. But I don't even like going out, so why do I even have those? Yeah. So it's like whatever it is that I am, that's what I attracted.
I was just gonna say that it says a lot about you as a person and whoever else. That you can, like you said, we connected on a different level. You still have that same thing with your other friends. So when I came in the picture, because you knew who I was, you felt comfortable to bring me around your friends. Yeah. If you thought I was this person that can't get along or make friends, I don't know if you would have brought me around.
Right. Yeah.
So
similarity.
Yes.
within each
I
other.
literally never thought of like, oh, what if they don't get along?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
I think because you knew both of us, our personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you knew we were kind of into the same thing.
Yeah.
Sort of going to LA. So it was just
Yeah.
You get what he's saying.
Well, maybe that's what we talking about, and I probably putting my stuff on Front Street, but I feel like I still, and it's not a bad thing, because I don't want to make it seem like, oh, yeah, high school, because my high school friends know who my high school friends are. Hey, guys. But I feel like we're together because we went through school together.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like and not saying like I need to know their deepest, darkest secrets. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, they're not the first people I think to call when I'm going through something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not the first people I think to be like, hey, X, Y, and Z have, even if I'm not giving you every bit of information, you're just not the first at my list. I'm like, I'm fit to call Asia. Or I'm fit to call Shimmy, Right. And again, I'm not saying that one friend is better than the other. I think I haven't gotten to the point where I'm like, hey, let me build upon this relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And vice versa with the friends that I met when I lived in different states.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I left the friendship for where we started, and then I left them in that space. I've never tried to. Now, I am who I am with whoever I'm talking to, but I'm also still intentional of like, what is it that I'm going to talk about?
Yeah.
Because if maybe I don't want, because I don't know who you talk to.
Yeah.
Do I want to share something with you that could end up somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
I'm that type of person. So if I tell you something, more than likely it's because if you go blabbing, I don't care because I repeat it to you.
Yeah.
You know? And so,
I feel like
and
what's
I've been that way
different
for forever.
with your friendships, though, is that like you have your friends from the mark that you've been knowing since high school, middle school, whatever the case may be. But then if you met friends like Shamika and Asia, for instance, you never been in a space where they were coexisting.
Yeah.
So like what I'm saying is like Kayla and Bria, and we went to college together.
Yeah.
So like we were literally living in a space for a time of our lives where we were just around each other.
Yeah.
So and then honestly, it got to a point sometimes where Kevin would feel like I was hanging out with them. Like sometimes I feel like Kevin was hanging out with from some of our friends that was there from the mark, and I was just hanging out because that was my roommate.
Yeah.
You know, this is just how life just.
It was a new chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how
played
life
out.
played out, right?
Yes.
And he didn't really express that until after we graduated.
Years later.
Yeah, but it was like even like I never knew that because every time he would come around, it was cool. Like at one point, all of that was like it was a transition thing. You know how you move from one apartment and your apartment not gonna be ready, so where you gonna move for the summer? They living at our house, so we all in this apartment, child, and it was like it was cool. But at first, I never thought that Kevin felt like, oh, she's hanging out with her. I guess at that time I knew friends more.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it as I live with her. I can't get rid of her.
Right.
You know? So and then here come other people.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how it played out. But with Ashley, she was my only friend that was from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But like I said, I met her in a place in my life where it was like she actually added value to my life. She wasn't just some girl that I was just cool with. We'd go have a drink or whatever. Like we were friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel
Clearly,
like
because the girl is in my house.
Yeah.
So we are friends.
Right.
And you trusted me enough that when you called me midnight, I come, and I was open doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's actually shown me that like the stuff that or the character traits that Ashley has. Like she's actually shown me these things. It's not like she was like, oh yeah, girl, I'm a good person, wanna be friends. No, she was actually a friend to me.
Yeah.
So it was like it was okay for me to be able to bring my friends around. Whereas for you, it was like, oh, I met y'all in Denton. And then Brittany left. Like, it wasn't like, no, oh, I went to Denton and I moved back to Texas, so y'all come to Texas to see me. And then it's just worked out that all my Texas friends are here. Brittany went from Denton to Virginia, from Virginia to another state. Like, it was no time for you to have your friends in one space.
Yeah.
So I still haven't, maybe once, seen all of them in the same space. And that was for your birthday, past birthday. And that was just Asia. So it's still like your friends. But I mean, it was cool. I didn't feel like nobody didn't like each other. Yeah. But it was just like, I don't feel like you've been in a space where you had to have your friendships collide. Mesh.
But I think it's also just in hearing about y'all talk, it's like in growing. I feel like I have grown, but I think it's a lot of me is still, and I talked about this with my therapist. I'm learning, guys. We're working on it. Like not to allow, it's not even my past, allowing others people's past moments that I know of affect how I move forward. Because like I said, if you do something, somebody told me something, maybe I'm not doing it. Because you said that's how they turned out for you. And what like in my mind, I'm like, what makes me think if you did the exact same thing that this is about to be any different? You're doing the exact same thing. I know I don't want to experience that, so I'm not sticking around for it. But I think I play that into a lot of different relationships too, of being like, if I hear something, right, then I'm like, well, I'd just rather keep this where it's at, because if I find out, now I'm pissed and I don't want to get pissed. So I think sometimes I'm projecting what I think is going to happen or what I think I feel. And then all of a sudden I move forward in that. And so for those reasons, I've allowed my friendships to just be where they are. If I feel like I want to like be more, then I'm just like, nah. Yeah.
I was thinking it. I loved it.
Then I don't. And like, that was a good one though. Because like I literally went to Galentine's, and again, hey friends, I hope y'all listening, but
Y'all better be.
But it was interesting because like we're moms, and so Monique was literally cleaning. But for me, Monique has always been like the mom of the group. She like knows everybody, and like we got to do this. And so to me, I feel like she's always been the mom. But it's interesting because like Tiffany is the one that really keeps us together, and that's interesting because I didn't feel like she would have been that friend. Not to say she won't like link up or like hang out with us, but I'm like, she's the one that literally puts everything together. She's like, so it's February, so what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like she's the one hitting you up in January for February. She's the one already thinking about what's to come. And I'm like, okay, we'll be there. Yeah. You know? And so it's interesting. And I think as we're talking and I'm realizing like, okay, Brittany, maybe it's not just you because you don't realize where they are either. And Monique was just cleaning up all the dishes, and I was like, look at Mama Mo. Okay, girl, what you need me to do? Let me go I felt like, damn, let me get a broom or something.
Yeah.
She cleaning, let me do
I be feeling like that's me in the group.
Yeah, so as much as I want to say maybe they don't know who I am, and I'm afraid to show like this is where I am with them thinking that's going to change the dynamic of our friendship, you know, maybe I also don't realize like really who they are now, you know, and so we're all just kind of circulating around each other.
We're going to bring them on the podcast.
Right, you get what you get. And so, you know, maybe it is a little bit of me, but that's why I love the podcast. I love these conversations, you know, and I'm learning from you guys as much as, and I know you'd be like, you can't learn from people that's younger than you, but really you can. So hearing that, it's like, that's great. So maybe it is me. And again, guys, we're still working on emotions here because it's not a thing that I like. And letting people in, it's just not my thing. So, and I even have to do that with Bree sometimes. Like I have to sit and just be like, let me figure out what this emotion is, and then I'm gonna let you know. Because my first one is that when you hurt my feelings, it's not, I'm going to come to you in a compassionate, sad way to have you understand what I'm feeling. It's, no, you done broke my heart. I'm finna cut your ass out. Yeah. Now I gotta go back and talk to Jesus. Because why I say the words? Why I call him that? Not my man. But like, why I call these people that? Because now I'm just really, I can't believe you did what you did. So I'm hurt. So now my sole job is not to say like, I'm trying to put you in the dirt, but really that's where we going. Yeah. And don't come back up. Not even 3 days later. Don't care. Because I'm coming back to put my foot on your neck. No. But I'm getting better.
That's Dars.
Right? I'm doing better, guys. I promise I am doing better. My foot is on nobody's neck. No, go ahead, Kevin. What you?
I was gonna say, so do you guys feel like y'all have lifelong friends? Or do you feel like you have friends that God did place in your life?
I feel like the friends that God did place in my life are my long life
friends.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I guess he placed you in my life. No, I'm not saying like he did it. I'm just saying like in regards to like I've just been knowing him for forever. Yeah. I didn't have to say that just because I've been knowing him a long time that he didn't place him in my life. But I'm saying like that was when I was a kid, so I didn't think of it like that, you know. Yeah. But now that's one of the only friendships that I've kept from Lamarck. Almost, it's like, yeah, that's my dog. You know, that's my friend. So I don't feel like I don't keep any company that I don't feel. Yeah. Well, at this point, if you're not here to stay, what are you here for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't need you to just be taking up space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because move.
No, because you got to go.
I feel like if the friendship is unconditional, definitely lifelong.
Yeah.
And God definitely, because Jesus loves us unconditionally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it.
So with that being said, y'all know, y'all tune in. If y'all don't, we ain't putting this episode out because don't nobody come on this podcast if you don't support.
You're done.
But I think, but at the end of every episode, you know, we always speak about what it is that we're done with. So we've been talking about friends, evolving, the company that you keep, the stuff that you had to grow through your relationships as well. So what is it that you can say that you're done?
I'll say I'm learning a lot, kind of like Brittany, and in between Brittany and Kevin, how I can be that way sometimes of not letting go, or I'll take that back because I do let go, but more so of like giving it chance after chance. And then hearing Brittany's side of it, like I've been done. Yeah. And so I value that. And maybe not just in relationships, but in life. So that's what I'm done with the pleasing. If you don't like it the first time, move on.
Yeah.
Right.
Snappy snap. Good job, intern.
So, I've actually been done with this probably for a little while because I've been working on it. But this is me officially saying it. I'm done tripping over the small stuff. So, because I used to be a small tripper.
Yeah.
For sure.
Every other step was a trip.
You're tripping over the leaf.
Exactly. You tripped over anything.
God said, get up.
Now.
Right now.
What is that right there? What is you tripping on?
Real, you could breathe wrong. I'm tripping.
Dang, Kevin. I thought I was bad.
Now, why are you breathing like that?
But no, I'm done with the small tripping and friendships.
Okay.
I'm done with it.
I like that.
What you done with, Brittany?
I think I'm going to be done with putting my friends in a box. I think I've placed them in these boxes, and so I feel like this is just what our conversations need to be. But realizing like we've all grown and we've all experienced different things in life. So it's like it's okay to text them one-on-one, or it's okay to say, hey, do y'all mind if we just hang? Like I can initiate something and not feel like, well, what the hell are we really doing here?
Yeah.
You know? So stop overthinking these friendships. Just let them be what they are.
Natural.
And I think that's the hard, because I don't overthink with new ones. I'm like, you're done.
Yeah.
But with my old ones and knowing like they do mean something to me, because if not, I'm not showing up to Valentine's. I'm not texting y'all back ever. But they do mean something to me. And so I want to be able to foster that. So I think I'm done with keeping my friendships in these particular boxes and feeling like I have to stay in these certain modes that I've created for us.
I guess mine will be something I feel like I'm already done with. Because I've had, like, as we grow, even as adults, like, it's just, like, it's hard, like you said, to maintain. Like, last night we was, like, we have to literally schedule in, when we gonna FaceTime. Like, I haven't talked to you in a while, like, we busy. So I feel like we had to be done with, like, keep just saying, oh, we don't talk, life is different. Well, the friendship or the way we used to hang out is just totally different. We don't even see each other, and get to a point where it's like, what are we gonna do about it? So I had to be done with just accepting the fact that my friendships are changing and change with it. Like, okay, life is happening. Yeah. So what am I gonna do to ensure that I still maintain this relationship that I claim that I care about?
I like that.
So I had to be done with, I guess, just not being intentional. Like, I can sit here and point out what's wrong within the friendship or what's changing. But what am I gonna do to be like, okay, that's changing, but I still want to be your friend. Yeah. I still want to hang out. I still want to talk. Like, what we going to do to make sure that we maintain that?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think also, I'm going to be done with two things. Because one thing I do...
done.
Right, I'm done.
Done square.
One thing I do like that Destiny, most of y'all have done, is continue to be open to new friendships. Like I said, because I'm not a big group kind of gal. You know, I think that may have hindered me from making, like you say, lifelong friendships, because I'm just like, no, thank you. Right. I'm gonna catch you later. Not okay. Right. Girl, I'm gonna call you. Okay. Right. I didn't even save your phone number. You have to tell me who you is each and every time. And if y'all ain't no emojis by your name, I'm that person.
Now,
I really don't know.
gonna be like, maybe.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe Shaquita. Right.
Damn it. Why you so smart? So I think I'm going to be done with saying that I'm not making any more friends. Because if God is waking me up to see another day, there's more people to talk to, there's more people to touch. So who am I to say that I'm just going to stay in my little circle and not invite other people? Because I never know.
You're here for.
Right?
Yeah.
You have something that somebody else may need.
That.
Yeah.
So don't shut yourself out from other people because you can learn from them and they can learn from you.
Yeah.
So hey, new friends.
We were just saying last night we're supposed to be fruitful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We literally had an episode in season 1 that's literally going to be titled No New Friends. Okay, maybe one. But that's the whole point of the podcast. We're evolving and we're growing, guys.
Yes. Amen.
So not to say that we don't need that many new friends.
No.
Unless the
Not
Lord
the whole
says so.
Y'all can
Right.
stay internet friends.
Right. We love y'all so much, but
Yes.
be intentional with the people that you keep around you. We're not saying just go out and make friends with just anybody. And also be the company that you want to keep.
Yes.
Be the friend that you expect your friends to be to you.
A good one. Okay.
Hey.
Snappy, snappy, snap.
You know how we do on the You're Done podcast.
Right? She ain't even bust out in no song today.
I know. What's wrong with me?
She done become a fiance. She just don't know how to act.
Okay.
Not Keisha.
What is it? Jesus is the reason.
Hey.
For the season, yes.
There go y'all song. My girl know about that. But yeah, that is the episode 1 of the season 2 of the You're Done podcast.
Thank y'all for having us.
Oh.
Same time next week, 7 p.m. every Thursday. Tune in. See y'all next time. Bye. Oh,
Bye.
That was great. Yeah, Kevin, how you feel?
Awesome.
Look at you. You gonna open up this season?
And now
Yes.
you
I like
you
it.
can throw it back
Right.
because you had to take sips.
Yeah.
He been over here fancy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it, y'all. Thanks. That was it.
No, that was pretty cool.